I don't want to do that. I'm like,
It's thorny, bro.
Mudkip. Yeah, let's go. Yes, go to bed, Mudkip. Oh shit. In case you haven't been able to tell, this is my full hypnosis team. Yeah, don't.
Oh, no.
Let's go, bro.
You don't have to do it if I can get this swing set up.
Please, I like being awake.
You're right. That's a fifth floor problem.
Not in my house.
Hey guys, it's TrainerOblivio checking in with another YouTube video. So guys, I'm gonna bring you something a little special here. This is actually featuring one of my good friends, streamer friends slash YouTuber friends that I got to know over the last year. Really huge support to my channel. Really awesome person. And shout outs to them. I'm gonna leave in the description below. I'm gonna leave their information if you guys want to go follow them or if you want to go support them. That would be doing me a huge favor, and I would really appreciate that, guys. But anyways, as I was saying before, I'm gonna be able to bring to you guys something that I haven't been able to do since last generation, funnily enough, and I am actually pretty hyped because I am used to being a singles Pokemon player. I actually didn't do doubles. I have dabbled in the VGC a little bit, but nothing crazy. And I didn't do doubles as prominently as I do now, or at least in this generation. More than I did singles anyways. And this team I built actually in Sun and Moon. And I was able, with the exception of the Dusclops and the Victini, they weren't originally there, but the other two Pokemon I wasn't able to bring over, unfortunately. All this being said, though, I hope you guys enjoy the video. I wasn't able to show this team off before because I haven't been doing singles battles, but I'll meet you guys at the end of the video. I hope you enjoy the fight. See ya.
So what were you guys able to do to come back and win this thing?
All right, well, at first we started slow. We started real slow. And, you know, that's all right. That's okay, because sometimes in life you're going to start slow. That's okay. We told ourselves, hey, we're going to start slow. We're going to keep going fast. We're going to start slow, but we're always going to finish fast. No matter what the score was, we're going to finish hard. We're going to finish fast. Yeah, they had us the first half. I'm not going to lie. They had us. We weren't defeated, but they had us.
What the heck was going on there? Once again, shout outs to my friend Spooky for that fight. That was incredible. Go give him some love, guys. It was really fun to have that fight with him. He wasn't particularly happy about a couple of things. He might have said a thing or two, but all water under the bridge, good stuff. So let's go onward to the build. So in case you guys didn't notice, in case you didn't realize here, there was a theme, obviously, surrounding the team, and it's a huge gimmick, but it worked beautifully in this video, as you've seen, and it sometimes works that way, and that's Hypnosis. It's a full Hypnosis team. So obviously, as you can tell by the title and everything, it's a full Hypnosis team, and it is meant to aggravate. Now, I build this. It's funny the way that it's built right now. Originally, when I built it in Sun and Moon, let me start there. It was built as a solos, as a singles team, right? So it was just, you know, one-on-one months. That's mostly what I did online, but I have kind of shifted more towards doubles and VGC this time around with this generation. So it's funny the way that I built it this time. It's kind of like half singles, half doubles, and it works for both, which is really funny. Some, or at least one of these Pokemon, do not work whatsoever in singles. It could be used to take out a threat if need be, but other than that, it sucks. Anyways, to the build. So this is Poliwrath. I actually got this Poliwrath from the Virtual Console all the way back from Red version, and it's really, really fun. So I knew that when I brought over this Poliwrath, I had really high IVs, so I really liked it, and so what I did was I slapped a muscle band on it, maxed out its speed, and split its offenses. Now you're probably wondering why I did that. So I maxed out the speed because Swift Swim with max speed, you guys seen in the video and back in this clip that I'm going to show right here, this Poliwrath was able to outspeed a Jolteon, which is an incredibly fast Pokemon, in the rain, which is super hype. It's super incredible. I would never think in a million years that it'd be able to do that, but it did, and that was fun. And that one actually happened in the multi-fight, so that was a lot of fun. The reason that I split its offenses, though, was because I gave it Metronome. So like I said, this whole team it's a pure meme, but if ran the right way, it's destructive. It's really funny. So the Poliwrath has as follows: Waterfall, Hypnosis, Metronome, and Focus Punch. Now, since it revolves around Hypnosis, I gave it Waterfall for French chances. Obviously, with the Swift Swim and the max speed investment, you're going to be getting some flinches off if you're outspeeding everything and you're hitting hard and hitting fast, especially with that muscle band backing its already beefy attack. The reason I didn't invest in bulk is because Poliwrath is already a naturally bulky Pokemon, good HP, good defense, and good special defense. Metronome pairs with Hypnosis hilariously because you can get the goofiest things off if the opponent's asleep and can't attack you, right? And then Focus Punch is actually really funnily a callback to an old strategy, and I wouldn't call it an old strategy, but it was something that you can see. I might even put a clip up right here that was used in a gym in my favorite generation of Pokemon was Generation 2. Now, that was actually a rework of that same gym strategy, which before was Mind Reader Dynamic Punch, but since through the generations it lost Dynamic Punch or didn't have access to it. In the remakes of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Chuck's Poliwrath, being his lead Pokemon, did this strategy instead: Hypnosis, Focus Punch. So what he would do is he would put your opponent to sleep and then Focus Punch the crap out of you, and believe me, Focus Punch with this much base power, with this much base power behind it, it stings. It hurts really bad. We were actually able to get one off in that fight there, as you guys seen, and it was a lot of fun to run there. I gave it a Serious Mint so that it would balance out all of its stats and not take away from anything, as I think Poliwrath is a pretty well balanced Pokemon as is. This Unfazant, oh man, it was the MVP of the first fight, alongside the Executor. This Unfazant is amazing. I love this thing. It's so fun. So I'm pretty sure if you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I might even put up a thing of its stats here in a second. Super Luck is Unfazant's hidden ability. And so I bred for this thing like crazy back in Alola, and I gave it max speed, max special attack. Now Unfazant's already an incredibly fast Pokemon, you know, without speed investment, but with max speed investment it is really fast. And a lot of people sleep on its special attack. Now its attack is obviously better, but it has a usable, and I do say usable to the furthest extent, a usable special attack. It's passable, and it's passable because of Super Luck and Scope Lens. So what I did with this Unfazant, hilariously, before the generational, I brought this Pokemon from Pokemon Home, obviously. It used to have, instead of Focus Energy, it had Razor Wind. Razor Wind had a high critical hit chance. So basically what I did is I slapped Hypnosis on this thing and a bunch of high critical hit moves. And then hoped that with the Super Luck and the Scope Lens, I'd be able to get all these crits off. Now, I replaced it with Focus Energy because you're not able to use Razor Wind in Generation 8, sadly. But it was really funny because the Hypnosis would allow it to use this 2-turn move and get it off and hit a full crit. But Focus Energy is actually a really viable and really good replacement for it, because with the Focus Energy, if you're able to put the opponent to sleep and use the Focus Energy, you're at full crit chance, because 1 up with the Focus Energy, 1 up with the Scope Lens, and 1 up with Super Luck. 3 is actually the cap for your stat boost to critical hit ratio. So when you're at +3, you're at max level crit, which means you're critting every single move, and that's really funny because Heat Wave crits, Air Cutter crits, and it does massive damage. And it also buffed Air Cutter, as you can see in this generation. Used to be only base 50, it's actually a base 60 move in this gen. And it hits dual opponents, so it's really useful in doubles and stuff like that. Modest nature, obviously, to really boost that special attack, and it was super fun to run. I really hope that in explaining these builds, you guys are able to pick up some of these mods and maybe use them yourself. This is the Rapidash. I slapped the wide lens on there so that it could boost the accuracy of its moves, and the reason that I did that, I know that it's not affected by Horn Drill, which was the meme that I ran on there, but this guy was also a max speed special attack modest Pokemon. I really love its shiny, and it was a Flash Fire Mon. Now what it was supposed to do, it was actually supposed to swap into the when the Executor was, for example, in the unfortunate event of it was being in the sun or something was targeting it, like maybe an Ice Mon or a Fire Mon, it was supposed to be there to absorb those hits. Now this one has Horn Drill, Hypnosis, Fire Blast, and Solar Beam. Now what's funny is that it didn't even have to be in the sun to function. Like I said, I brought this over from Generation 7, and in Gen 7 you didn't have Dynamax moves that would set up the weather like Max Flare would. So you would think that I couple that with the Solar Beam. What I would do is just put the opponent to sleep, and then because they were asleep, you would be able to use the 2-turn charge move like Solar Beam and like Razor Wind, like the Unfazant used to have. So it's super hilarious. But Fire Blast obviously stabbed it really hard. Horn Drill is a meme. If you think you can get it off while the opponent's asleep, it's super hilarious to make people rage quit. I'm kidding, it's terrible, don't do that. But it's kind of funny to get off the Horn Drill, you know, with such a terrible accuracy. It's hilarious to see it happen, and Solar Beam obviously there for coverage. So, Executor, this Executor I also brought over. Now, this Executor, I'm going to show you Executor stats, which is kind of funny. Alolan Executor is a little bit of a slept-on mon. Now, back in the Sun and Moon days, I remember that a lot of people went for Alolan Executor. Like, they explored the crap out of it, right? So back in the Gen 7 days, Executor was tired out. It went into the meta strong, but it died out over time, like a lot of mons do when, you know, all these sets are explored and all these trainers use them, and so then they're not a surprise and people find counters. And obviously, you know, and a really strong Ice Beam or a Max Hailstorm could destroy this Executor. But what's funny is that I ran full defensive investment on this Executor. It already has a really high HP stat. Attack, defense, special attack, and the only thing that it's really lacking in is somewhat speed and special defense. Now, Alolan Executor was kind of used as a like a hard hitter back in the Sun and Moon days. So all of those hard-hitting movesets were already explored back then. So what I did is I kind of flipped it. I gave Executor a calm nature to boost its kind of lower special defense, and I gave it max special defense and max defense, which, you know, at a level 100, that's a lot of bulk right there. You know, 331 HP backed by almost 300 defenses. That's a lot of bulk. Now, obviously, this Pokemon is incredibly weak to a lot of things: dragon, ice, bug, you know, you name it. Ice specifically. But what I did is that I kind of damage tested this thing, and I know it would survive even a really strong ice move. It would survive it badly. You know, it would survive, but badly. So what I did is I gave it Harvest, and I gave it an Aguav Berry. Now, what an Aguav Berry does is it's one of the special berries that restores 50% HP, unlike 30 like the Citrus Berry, depending on your Pokemon's nature. Now, if you have a special defensive boosting nature, like Calm, the Aguav Berry is a berry you want to use because your Pokemon will like the taste of it and it won't give it confusion. So, when it would badly survive the ice move, it would bring it back to really high health, and even if it was outsped or anything, once the opponent was asleep, it was kind of over for whoever was out on the field, as you kind of seen with some of the Mons. Once the opponent's asleep, you trap them with Infestation, and once they're trapped, they can't swap. This Pokemon, like I said, was meant for singles. This really helped when you wanted to single out a Mon that you were having trouble with in that fight. You would just send this Executor out, it would tank whatever, put it to sleep, trap it, and then whittle away at it with Infestation, because Infestation does chip damage, Leech Seed does chip damage, and you can just keep the opponent in the chain. Obviously, it can't swap, it's asleep, it's getting its health drained, and as you've seen in one of the battles, the Executor went from like red health all the way back up to full health after a couple of Mons got trapped and sapped off of. Skill Swap was a little bit of a 5-head play that we put on the Executor. Obviously, this team has a butt ton of counters. It's a gimmick, right? Let's just start there. It's a gimmick. But the skill swap would be able to take away, for example, a Pokemon with Insomnia or a Pokemon with an ability that would, you know, hinder this Hypnosis Team and not let them, you know, be able to put Pokemon to sleep. Now, obviously, the Executor was, like I said, countered by a lot of things, but it worked pretty well in the moments that I did use it, so it's a really fun build, and I really like using it. This Dusclops was not originally on this team. I had something different on this team, and it was a Spiritomb, and the Spiritomb would function similarly to how this Dusclops does. Basically, this Dusclops doesn't have attacking moves, aside from Dream Eater, which is heavily reliant on the sleep, right? But the issue is that back in the Sun and Moon days, there's a bunch of moves such as Razor Wind, such as Nightmare, such as Attract, and what's the other move that I wasn't able to use? There was another move on the Spiritomb that I wasn't able to use. The Spiritomb was fully supposed to be infuriating. So what it did was it would trap the opponent with Infestation, put them to bed, give them Nightmare to chip away at their health, and then it would have Attract as its last move, I'm pretty sure, so that even if the opponent woke up or if the opponent was already asleep, you would be able to attract them, and it'd be kind of a pseudo parafusion, which is when you paralyze and confuse them on, so they have to get through the paralyze and then they also have to get through the confusion in order to attack. Well, it was kind of that. They would have to get through the sleep, and then they would also have to get through the attraction in order to attack you. Unfortunately, I was not able to replicate that with the Dusclops, and unfortunately the Spiritomb was just not viable without the attract. Didn't do a whole lot, and it kind of tanked. I even tested it out when I first brought this team over. Didn't work. Anyways, I ran this Dusclops max HP, max special attack, your standard Dusclops with an EVO light, obviously, so that it can tank moves. But what it would do is it would pair nicely with this Victini, which we will get to Victini in a moment here. So the idea was, right? Let me explain the Victini first, then we'll revisit the Dusclops. The idea with this Victini, right? And let's just start off with, this kind of goes against TrainerOblivio. I don't like to use legendaries or mythicals, but the whole meta is shifted to mythicals and legendaries right now. That's fine. That's okay. It's not a big deal. I just personally don't like to use them. I think it's pretty cheesy. More on that later. But, right? As you guys seen, I didn't even have to use him in one of the battles, and I don't really like to. And he's really, this whole team is a gimmick, but of the gimmicks here, this is the gimmickiest Pokemon on the team. It's terrible. It has 0 attacking moves. No move here has an attack value because none of them are attacking moves. I didn't put anything attacking here, and I did not invest in its attack in any shape, way, or form. As a matter of fact, I was actually using it to shiny chain a Reggie Steel, and that's why its defense is kind of maxed out there, and I kind of just slapped the power weight on it so I can max out its HP all at the same time, and it obviously got a little bit of special defense investment there. That's why its defense is a little bit higher than its special defense. Anyways, the whole point of this Victini was Victory Star. That's it. It boosts the accuracy of its allies and itself. So obviously, Hypnosis is a move that only has a base 60 accuracy. It doesn't have a whole lot of accuracy. But with Victory Star, you were able to bring that up to like a solid 66% because it's about 10%. And then obviously with Pokemon like the Rapidash, you would stack the Wide Lens and the Victory Star, and you would bring it up to like a beefy 70-something%. So it was a pretty reliable Hypnosis. And that was the whole point of the Victini. That was it. So the Victini was literally meant to just stay alive. Protect. Substitute. Substitute and then protect the substitute. Rest to get its HP back. Leftovers to keep vital. And if all else fails and it really had to go, Final Gambit. The Final Gambit would just kill itself. And since I invested in its health, it has a pretty decent HP stat. And it would usually take out a threat, or it would take out a mon that was an issue, or... Here's why when we revisit the Dusclops now, we paired it with the Dusclops, and the Dusclops I gave Skill Swap. Now, Dusclops is an incredibly tanky Pokemon, as a lot of people already know. Now, Victini, not as bulky as you would hope. It's just a mythical. It just has, it's not bad defensively, but it's not a Dusclops for sure. And so what it would do is it would skill swap the Victini, take the Victory Star for itself, and the Victini would just out itself with Final Gambit because it did its job. That's all it was here for. That's all it would do. It did not bring any prowess whatsoever. It just needed to be around so that the Victory Star could help boost the accuracy of some of the lower accuracy moves, namely Hypnosis, on the team. Now, obviously, the Dusclops was also a gimmick, and getting off that skill swap was incredibly difficult. Dusclops is a Pokemon that nobody likes, and everybody wants to get off of the field as soon as they see it. So it was obviously heavily reliant with recovery, with Dream Meter on the other Pokemon that it was supporting. It was supposed to, obviously somebody would be asleep, and then it'd be able to Dream Meter it. That's if it wasn't a Darkmon, because then if that happened, we'd kind of be screwed. Trick Room was obviously there to set off the speed balance if we needed to. If somebody tailwinded, if somebody did something to boost their speed, we'd switch that up. And then Gravity was there so that we could boost the accuracy of these low accuracy moves even more. So what Gravity does, it obviously, as it says right there, this move enables flying Pokemon or Pokemon with the Levitate ability to be hit by ground type moves and moves that involve that flying can't be used. So basically, what it does is it drags everything down, but it also has hidden effects such as increases the accuracy of a lot of moves. So since everything is grounded and not moving around, everything is more accurate to hit. It's a standstill target, and Gravity then therefore would boost the accuracy of Hypnosis even more. So we would have a pretty decently reliable Hypnosis with obviously Gravity and Victory Star and things like Wide Lens. Hypnosis would hit almost all the time, and it was pretty cool. But alas, we never really got to use the Dusclops or the Victini very much. They weren't really useful, and that's okay because the core of the team is obviously these four right here, and they performed excellent. So that's the team, guys. I'm going to be bringing you more team builds in the future. Please leave in the comment section below anything else that you would like to know or questions that you may have. I will be explaining this Sandstorm team, I believe, next, once I get some more footage, and this Sandstorm team as well. They will obviously function similarly, so I'll take a video to explain both. If you guys have obviously anything else that you would like to say, leave it in the comment section. Thank you so much for the love, guys. I might sprinkle in a blooper or two. But aside from that, thank you for coming to the video. I really appreciate the love.
You're still in that same stuff.
You know it.
I swear to God, at some point in this fucking
I'm just waiting to see it.
Trust.
I only went
Living up to his name.
right.
Bro, every
Oh,
time
yeah.
I team up with you, I always gotta say, don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry
like
about
we're not
it,
gonna die.
That's worth a damn.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I died.
Oh shit.
Drilled you, alright. He drilled you. You asked for it and he did it.
You're just trying to put it in your fucking bed, Mr. Sandman?
Yes.
I just put up with Sandman in the Great Cold War. What's he gonna do? Lullaby them and say I'm getting fucking grenades all that?
People spam that when they get turned on, yo. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. You just got turned on my stream, bro. And there's a 16-year-old present.
Pokemon fetish.
What the fuck?
Hey,
calling my mommy.
Hey, yeah, I got
I'm gonna bite your tit off.
I got a pedophile present. Because I need the cops now, bro.
Get the food I gotta say.
Damn, man's got 3 shinies, yo.
Yo, you said the fucking cops is on the way, bro? You said the cops is already here? No.